Excellence has been confused with exhaustion, and somewhere along the way, burnout got mistaken for commitment, and rest started to feel like maybe it was a little bit of a weakness. But burnout doesn't prove that you're dedicated. It can also signal, or it can signal, there's a form of misalignment there. And those of us that consider ourselves high performers, we don't last because we work the hardest. We last because we work the smartest. And today we're going to talk about how to pursue excellence without sacrificing longevity. Let's talk about it right after this.
Educate, empower, enable, impact. Thank you for tuning in to That Will Never Work, an award-winning podcast where we share inspiring information and personal experiences related to business and the entrepreneurial journey from those who are leaders in their respective field. Now, here's your host, author and business coach, Maurice.
What's going on, everyone? So, is your current pace something you can maintain or just survive? So, is your current pace something you can maintain or just survive? So, here's the idea behind this. The stories, the examples in my life, and some of you may have heard it already, some of you may not, where I was a new father, I was moving up in my career. Well, I wasn't a new father, but I was still rather young. My kids were under the age of 10. And to be more exact, let's say I believe they were 7 and 5. And so, we have those transitions of out of kindergarten, get set, kindergarten, first grade, second grade, those type of things. We have the example of me moving to a new home, moving to a new position. And so I thought that I was committed. I thought that I was moving forward. And what I did not realize is that I was really burning myself out because I was also active in my fraternity and I was burning myself out. And so I just want you to understand that burnout isn't about laziness or lack of grit, but it's about systems that demand more than they replenish. And I was not being replenished, none whatsoever. And sustainable excellence requires structure, boundaries, and intentional recovery. And those type of things I did not take in consideration because I did not know how to relax. I didn't know how to sit down and read a book. I didn't know how to not sit down and even watch TV, because I felt like it might have been a form of laziness, and so burnout is a system failure, not a personal one. My family, we didn't have things in place. We didn't have those ideas in place, those boundaries in place. And so the system was not functioning, or the lack thereof of a system wasn't functioning. And so I want you to understand that rest isn't a reward, it's a requirement. And sometimes we don't require that of ourselves. And so high performers, they schedule recovery the same way they schedule responsibilities. And energy management matters just as much as time management. How many of you have your vacations scheduled already? And I've been explaining this to my daughter recently in her corporate America job because one, you have other people to consider, right? So if especially since being my daughter does not have any young children, so does she need to stress having certain holidays and things off? Let's just be a little more considerate in that. Okay, I understand that, you love being with us and You want to, still have the family thing, but let's understand this. We were there in those shoes at one particular time. And I'm pretty sure if you do it now, you play it forward when you are ready to have children of your own. Let's play it forward and let's say, hey, you know what? Let's put out in the universe. I assisted. Maybe someone else can understand when I'm in that position as well. And then, let's understand that rest is a strategic asset. It is a strategic asset. Like you have to really understand at what are your breaking points. And sometimes it might come at a cost. You may not always understand your breaking point because of, we're just used to moving. So I really would like for you to understand that sustainable success comes from consistent, repeatable rhythms, not just constant urgency. And a lot of times we think that things are urgent. We put a level of urgency on it when it doesn't really need to. And so when work and recovery are aligned, performance improves without the burnout. So are you getting enough sleep at night? Are you ensuring that you are in bed at the same time every night? And if it's not bed, maybe you're sitting on the couch, understanding like, hey, you know what? I need to have that's 5 or 10 minutes a day just to unwind, to relax. What does that look like and feel like moving forward? And so excellence thrives on rhythm, not rush. Burnout quietly erodes the passion, creativity, and effectiveness that you can have. And this matters because we as professionals who burn out don't just slow down, we can also disengage. I've had to understand that recently in taking a vacation. And then with that, I have not had a moment to disengage like that in a very long time. You get caught up in family situations. You get caught up in promotions. You get caught up in clients. You get caught up in, I have to record this podcast episode. I have to do this project. I have to create this advertising campaign, and what is the brief and what is the RFP and all these type of things that we all have to go through in our own lives. That does not include if you are a husband or a wife. That does not include if you are a parent or not. Does not include if you're an aunt or uncle. That does not include, you being a child yourself. Maybe a good cousin, whatever the situation might be, those things are not included in that. So you don't have to break yourself to build something meaningful. You don't have to be exhausted to build something meaningful. And when excellence is sustainable, success becomes repeatable. So I would like for you to assess one area where your pace needs adjusting and make a change that protects your longevity. Again, I understand that sometimes the race is given to the swift, right? Sometimes it's given to those that endures. So what is it for you? I understand everyone does not work at the same pace. Everyone does not have the same desires. Everyone does not have the same sense of urgency. So if you are like myself, who's in that 50 age range now, I'm just getting there. Yes, there might be a sense of urgency. But if you're in your 20s, you might feel like, hey, I have all my life to go. Or because you are young, you're like, hey, I got to go and get it now because I see what others have and I want that. Trust me, I've been there, I've done that. But I also understood later on in life that I should have slowed down. I should have considered everything that was going on. and that I was slowly making myself incompatible, unusable, unresourceful, or whatever it is in whatever areas I might have been in. So let's understand it affects a little bit of everything. So please, please, please assess one area where your pace can be adjusted and make a change that protects your longevity. Because if you're sick, if you're down, you're not helping anyone. We'll talk to you just a little bit later on.
Thanks for listening. Follow Maurice Chisholm on social media to stay connected and check back weekly for new episodes. Until next time, that will never work. Or will it?